Hey y'all, we're back with another episode of Black Women Healing Pod, and today we have a special guest on. But before we jump in, we first want to have a little conversation as we usually have. And so, Danica, who is your favorite Black woman and why? Who stands out for you?
My favorite Black woman is my mother, Nene Bonita Brown. The reason why she's my favorite Black woman is because of her journeys. I know we talked about that in our last episode, but just her journey of life and the resiliency of her as a woman, as a Black woman. She's been willing to learn and grow with me in my journeys as I've continued to want to try to get better. And when I call out stuff, everybody knows I'm a old curious person. I've been like that for a long time. And she be down with it. My mom is so strong. She's been through so much, and I just love my mom. So my mom's my favorite Black woman. What about you, Myra?
Dope. Wait, so I want to ask you, because every time we talk about Black women, you always talk about your grandma or your mom. So I want to challenge you and ask you to think of someone that you're not related to, that's not a friend, but that's maybe someone that you maybe seen, whether it be like in media or anything like that. If you could think of another Black woman that stands out for you that maybe other people might be familiar with.
Well, first of all, Myra's a therapist, y'all. You hear her talking about, I want to challenge you. Okay. Okay. So challenging me, the second person that comes to mind when it's like outside of family, because I do love my family, and that's probably why when I say my favorite Black woman, it's my family. But going outside of them, I would say I consider a woman named Denise. She's a therapist as well as a mentor. And this Black woman, y'all, she has dropped so many gems and given me so much like free information. Like when you live in California, Los Angeles, pretty much anywhere, people do not be wanting to help you for free. Everything's a fee. Everything like, a consultation fee, everything. One, I'm broke. I'm working on that, working on getting a bag. But I'm a single woman, taking care of everything by myself. So when you find someone who's doing it because it's not about money, but because she really wants to see Black women like flourish, like she's so dope. So I would say she's my favorite Black woman outside of my family. Shout out to Denise. All right, I did it. What about you?
So of course my person would be my mom too. But I mean, I feel like this is easy I feel like you could guess who my person is. Can you guess?
Maya Angelou.
Duh. Yeah. As far as like the cage bird like reference, like I look-key want to get that like tatted on me. I really love Maya Angelou. But you're making me think about like women who drop like free gems, and I think about the Budgetnista. Are you familiar with the Budgetnista?
Absolutely.
She like, although she charges for certain things, she's all about making sure that Black women are good. So like if y'all could join her Facebook group, she has a Facebook group. I can't think of the name right now, but if I can remember it, I'll share. But just straight dropping like free gems all the time. She likes to celebrate Black women. She likes to celebrate Black kids. She even like created like a children's book. She does so much stuff, and she does so much stuff for free while at the same time getting her bag. So I really admire her and love like all that she's about. She's great.
Yes.
What about you?
Me, I would have to say, hmm, um, I would have to say Danica.
Don't do this. It's too early.
Tell us why. No, let's do this. Tell us why.
Well, ever since she came into my life, if you're talking about getting gems, she always puts and guides me to the right path, always telling me the right things that need to be done.
Yeah.
And not having I never had a real mother figure in my life, so, and I never really had too many people that I can look up to. So by having a friend that I could, even though she's my age, she's wise beyond years. So
Yes.
therefore, it really would be her.
Yes. I'm happy that you highlighted Donika, because I was something in my soul was like, I feel like Donika is gonna be the person. So I was like, I feel like Tina might say her, and you said her. So that's why I was like, yes, we're gonna go there. Donika is an amazing person, and we're always talking about giving people their flowers. So we're gonna make sure you get your flowers, sis.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. But getting into today's episode, so I want to introduce my friend Tina. So today's guest is Tina Irvin. She is a 27 years old Black woman. She has 4 children, and she's originally from North Carolina. She moved to Kentucky at the age of 18 little months. Currently, she's finishing school to become a dental assistant at MedQuest College. Tina has been in the foster care system for 6 years. She's been in 6 different foster homes, and she lived in 3 different group homes until she got adopted at the age of 9. So if you all haven't noticed, today's episode, we're going to be talking about this foster care system. So Tina, tell us a little bit about yourself. In particular, what has your day-to-day been like since COVID?
Well, since COVID started, it really just been I've really just been practicing grounding myself for real. Just being able to take care of my children and hold down my household as usual. And also just, I don't know, 2020 was a year of this pandemic, and I really had to ground myself because I was doing a lot of shadow work, a lot of working on myself, releasing old traumas, and just starting to get to know me for level, for real.
Mm-hmm.
What it been?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm curious, we're talking about foster care today. And just to give a little background, I don't know if y'all know, for the people that are listening, but that's my job. So I specifically work with kiddos in foster care from age 2 to like 22-ish. So I'm a therapist with that particular population. So I'm always wanting to learn more. And so I want to hear a little bit about your breakdown of your childhood experiences with the foster care system.
Yes. Well, my experience with foster care had been very traumatic. Like Nika has stated, I have been in 6 foster homes. Just moving home from home, it really just take a toll on you and drain you from a mentally, physically, and emotionally state of mind, state. Uh, I've been in situations where I had Pacific foster care home that I was at, that I had got a gun pulled out on me. That was the most traumatic thing that ever happened to me. Another thing was I had one specific foster mom who really didn't like me because her husband was attracted to me, but I didn't even understand that until I got older and actually got to understand it as an older, person, older person. But and just other homes, just really just physically and mentally, you know how you can feel the energy of people who don't like you. I have to say, most of the homes that I've been to were just basically after that. And I didn't even know, I never even knew that we actually even, I was so young. I was like 4 years old, 5, 6, 7, 8 during these times. And I didn't, I don't know a lot because I'm a child. So I didn't really even get into knowing that they got checks from us until I hit like 14, 15 and looked into it. And that's when I was out like, making connections about a lot of things. Even just going to school. I went to 10 different elementary schools because, when you get pulled out of home, you get pulled out of school too. Plenty of times where the social worker came up and I had to, just walk out of that school and know that was my last day there and I was going to get thrown to something else. Then having to adjust to new environments, even at school, getting bullied. I remember when I was living in Home of Innocence for 6 months, I had a ride the short bus, but it didn't have the blue sticker on it, but it was just like a little small bus that can take, the kids from Home of Innocence to the school. And I remember I went to Whitney Young Elementary, and a lot of people was talking about me, like, oh, you ride a short bus, you ride a short bus. But it's funny with that. In fourth grade, I was in fourth grade, and we have, how you write your folios, and I actually wrote a personal narrative about my experience. This was the first time I ever wrote something about me that was true. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know they had picked like 7 people to put in a book, and we was all in the cafeteria, and everybody was like, got to read these books of these 7 people that they picked, to go in the book. And one of the stories was mine. And I seen so many people came up to my table and was all like, oh my God, I just want to apologize. I'm so sorry. I didn't know that you was in foster care. I didn't know you was living at Home of Innocence. That's the reason why. And, I had kids crying to me. They was asking me to sign a little book and everything. And I don't know, like, wow. That was that was a good moment for me, though, because, I got to open up and be real.
Wow.
Stuff from different lights.
Thank you for sharing that. It makes me think about the work that I do with foster kids. And one of the things that we do is creating a narrative. And hearing you tell this story makes me feel good that I'm actually doing that. Because sometimes I'm like, do I really want to do this with them? Does this even seem helpful? And so I've kind of strayed away from it. But one of my clients I'm thinking about in particular, her story still sits with me. And she always tells me like that really empowered me to, continue on in life. And hearing you say it is, a reminder that, yeah, this work is powerful. And the fact of, the experience that you had, just a reminder. So I'm just thanking you, like, from me, like, it's reminding me that the work I'm doing, like, I need to continue doing it. And
most definitely.
I'm curious about, so when I think about, the work again, it makes me think about attachment and how, when we're with our biological parents, we built this attachment naturally. And when we have these different experiences of going to different homes, how you have this disruptive attachment. Like you might start to build this attachment with this person, but you're gone. This new one, but you're gone. So it makes me think about, your experiences in attachment and how that's kind of grown, because now you have your own kids. Mm-hmm. So I'm just curious about, I don't really have like any particular question, but more so reflection. If you could think about the attachments throughout your life, and then now, being in your kid's life, and this is a new attachment that you've built, I'm sure. So I'm curious about that.
Yes. Well, with the attachments, I actually have attachment issues, based off my experience. I never really grew too attached to people because it wasn't me, because I was always an open person and wanted that because I was a child, but it was other people. They wasn't willing to give it. And as I got older, I realized that you have to look at it from their point of view of how they grew up. Prime example, my adopted mother, like, that wasn't a good experience as well, but as I got older, I realized that I had to look at it from her side. She gave a lot of tough love, but then she didn't balance it with affection. So, she never sat down with me and have the talk of self-love and, what I'm saying, just the womanly talk that you have with your mother, a mother-daughter bond. We never had that. It was always, when I did ask questions, she always got hostile about it. So it got to the point where I was just quiet. But how that attached to now me having kids, I kind of told myself, as we grow up, young, I'd be like, no, I never want my kids to feel that way and all of that. But to keep it all the way real, it was hard for me to grow attached to my kids because I never did feel that. And I felt like I actually got thrown into having kids and then not having a mother figure, or like I said, even the women that I did grow with that was in foster home or my adopted home, we never had attachment. So it was hard for me at first. And I remember I used to call Nika and talk to her about it and be like, how do I make the connection? She was all like, I know it's hard because you're not used to it, but you just have to do exactly what you wanted. That's just what it is. You have to exactly do what you wanted. And I know it's kind of go against the grain because it's not what you used to, and you don't feel like you're not doing it right. Well, I don't know. And then another thing, I'm also hard on myself too. Very hard on myself. Because I know these things. So me and my kids got attachment. I am attached to all my kids, but in the beginning stages when my first child was born, it took a minute.
Yeah.
It took and like I love my children to death, always. You know what I'm saying? I go hard for them. I'm breaking general curses. I'm trying to fight this. You know, my family is known for getting their kids put in the system. My mother, my sister. So it's me that's trying to stop the general curse. So I'm extra hard on myself all the time, and I'm learning how to have be kinder to myself. But those attachments issues really do hit hard. But I'm finally working through them, and I got it. But it was hard though. It was hard.
I love how you said, I'm finally working through them and I got it. That is so powerful to say that. And the fact that you said you just have to do exactly what you wanted, I think I will carry that like forever. If I can use that to tell my clients, I think I'm going to tell them the same thing.
Yeah, she most definitely can. It's really, really true.
For sure.
Yeah. As you were talking, I was wondering because I mean, Tina's been my friend since I was probably like, I don't know, maybe 14, 15.
Wow.
15.
Yeah.
But so some of this stuff, I'm like, dang, I don't remember. And we probably have talked about you being in 6 different foster homes and 3 different group homes. And once I met you, had already been adopted. But I was wondering, like going through the foster care system and then being adopted, do you think that changed things for you in a positive way? Like, was it easier as you got older, or was you faced with even more challenges?
Well, you know, the funny thing about that is I got adopted by my godmother. This was the lady who I lived in Iroquois Projects in Louisville, Kentucky. So she almost hit me when I was 2 years old. That's how she met me. And I remember she got out the car and she took me to my apartment. And she told me, she was talking to my mom, and that's how she ended up getting cool. And ever since then, she was my godmother. So when I finally was getting ready, when I moved to Homeland Innocence after 6 months, she's the one that took me home, got me out of there. So I was excited more than you would ever know because that's what I've actually been praying for. But things change. But now that I'm older, I can honestly say that, like, at the end of the day, I see that she had to be a parent. You know what I'm saying? And I understand now because I'm a parent of 4. So she had to be a parent, but she also, like I said, it was just a fine line of tough love and not showing enough affection. That's all I can say about her is she showed a lot of tough love, but she didn't show a lot of affection. So growing up, moving from being 9 years old into into my adoption stages, it was kind of difficult because like now, like you said, I am getting older and I'm starting to see things, and I still don't have no trusted person to talk to about anything. She never came to me and asked me, what are the things that you went through? Or even, thought about, like, I do have to love her a little different because of the trauma that she's been through. I don't blame her though, because I just feel like, everybody is going through their own stuff. And like I said, how she grew up, probably she didn't get the same thing. Like she probably grew up off tough love too. So, and she had 3 biological children, and just talking to them each individually, they all told me that, they never really told their mom they loved them, or, just had that affection, or just, even just wake up and say, good morning, mom. You know what I'm saying? It was just, they knew we love each other, but they just, went through life. So that was hard on me because it just felt like, my whole life I was always quiet. I always was, I always felt like my feelings, I wasn't important. So it just kept going into my adoption stages. It just got a little worse because I was getting older. So I'm starting to figure stuff out and see stuff in a different light. But I mean, it made me who I am today. So, you know, I don't know if I answered that. Did I answer that?
Yes, yeah, you did. You most definitely did. Thank you for expressing your personal experience and being open with us today. I think that this stuff is it can be activating. And we for sure want to make sure that you feel comfortable. So share as much as you want to. And really, just whatever you feel comfortable. Going to this next question, because we've been talking about attachments and love, affection, all those things. So how do you think the system, going through the system, has impacted your thoughts of love as an adult?
Yes. It most definitely the system had affected mine effect on my adulthood with love. So I never had love growing up. So and I seen, people in relationships. So I'm thinking that you're supposed to just get love from a guy. But, this is coming from a wounded child. You know what I'm saying? Thinking this way. So I was looking for all the love in all the wrong places. I was hang on. I was in the wrong places basically. Oh, to two toxic relationships, and I actually dealt with a whole lot, tolerated a lot of what I did because I felt like it was my comfort zone. It was toxic, but my environment always been toxic. So I was comfortable with that. That was my comfort zone. And I never realized until last year that it wasn't, I didn't have to tolerate that no more. Just because I know how to tolerate a lot don't mean that I need to tolerate it. And just because I'm a familiar with a situation don't mean that I have to stay in it, just not having no type of family love and self-love too. Like that's the main key to it all. I was just out here trying to fill this void that I thought that was needed by a guy or even a child, and it was none of that. It was myself that I needed it from. So that really put a stamp on my life with the adult love.
When you mentioned last year, you realizing that, it makes me kind of circle back and kind of have like a full circle moment of the way that we kind of travel through our journeys. And you lay it out very beautifully because you said, as I get older, more things are in my face and I'm realizing more things. And when you mentioned, you just realized it last year, you kind of were like, when you said it. And I say all that to say, on this journey, we're always doing the work. And when you talk about, with COVID happening, you doing some shadow work, I hear a lot of like inner child work too. I just want to remind everyone listening that that's fine. It's fine to, continue this journey of healing because you got to do it for you. And although some things are put in our face a little bit later, that's fine because we still got to work through that shit, right? It's shit we got to work through. So I just got that to say, when you were like last year, I heard a little bit of shame and I want to say, fuck that. Continue to do the work and continue, you're highlighting the fact that you're doing the work and we got to give you the praise for that.
Yes.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I do a little like last year because last year was the last year of me finally just holding that childhood trauma in because I realized I can't be a victim of it and I have to face it. It's like for so long I've been trying to run away from my problem, run away from me, but that's the thing. It's me. It's who I am. It's my journey. That's my story. And can't no one take that away from me. Like, and it made me who I am today. And I don't know, it just took a minute for me to really realize that I can't keep running for myself. I have to face it and not be ashamed of it and hug my inner child and let her know that I love you and I'm sorry for running.
We were actually going to ask you a question about what you would tell your younger self, and you're kind of going into it. So can you just add more to it? What else would you tell your younger self? Because I hear you would hug this person, you would nurture this person. What else? I want to hear it all.
Yes, I was most definitely tell my younger self to, you are very important. You are beautiful from the inside out. And that's what made you who you are. Your feelings are valid. Your thoughts are valid. Everything about you is valid. You know what I'm saying? Your worth is worth way more than you can even imagine. You are really on this world to help people. And you're going to see that when your time comes. But right now, just love yourself and let everything else release all of it. Because at the end of the day, you're going to get through this. And you're going to impact millions of lives.
You say that and I could tell you believe it and walk in it. And I feel like I hear people say this so much and I'm just like, you just say this, you just say this, but you said it with so much certainty. And I really felt what you said.
Thank you. It is. It really is. Because I don't know. It's just been like for years, I just been like suppressing my feelings for this, suppressing. I don't know. Like let's see. When I was younger in high school, I remember I read this book called Piece of Cake about cupcake.
Yes.
Yes.
I was going to suggest that to you.
Yes. Yeah. I just rebought it on Kindle because I'm about to get back into it. But that book made me want to. That was my inspiration to make me want to write my story. Because you can always turn something negative into a positive thing. Yep. And when I was younger, even being in like group homes, I remember being in there, they used to always tell me, like the workers used to, because I used to come up with activities for us to do for the children. And they used to always be like, Tina, you got this on point. Like, you should most definitely come back. Like when you get older, go to school for it and come back and really, you got a handle on this. Like you really got, this is your thing. Like you can do this. And I was like 16 at a time when I was going through this and just coming up with different projects for us to do that was very self-healing. And I put stuff out the bag I didn't even know I could even do. Like it was a very powerful moment. When I left, I always said that that's one of the things I wanted to do. Even if it's just as simple as getting to the point where I can go into, because I went to Our Lady of Peace, I went to Timbrook, and I also went to Home of Innocence, going in and talking to them children and just speaking to them and telling them like everything's going to be okay. Even sitting them down, talking to them about self-love. It's a lot that goes on. Like it's a lot of people that I know growing up, just going into group homes and hearing their stories. And everyone have a story to tell. And everyone's story is important that needs to be heard and can help other people. And you just be so amazed. And then you see these people and I'm still cool with these people. I'm still on Facebook and they just shining, you know what I'm saying? They doing their thing now. And it's just like, yeah, we came from a negative spot, you can say, but we came and made a positive way out of it. And y'all can do it too. And another thing was like, I would never forget when I was in Timbrook, when we go to school, that's the only time we were around boys. But I was going in the hallway drinking some water from the water fountain. And this guy, one of the dudes side, the boys side, counselor worker was talking to a guy outside the hallway. I guess he had got in trouble. And he was saying like, I know you get mad, but you have to understand, you put yourself in no predicament. Just give him a pep talk. And then, like, I think dude was crying. The little boy was crying. He was all like, you don't know what I've been through. And I was surprised what he said. He was all like, I walked down these halls. I slept in them beds. I came here when I was a child. And it just touched me because it's just like, dang, you really don't hear too many people that been in group homes coming back and being workers there so they can relate to the kids and get a deeper understanding and let them kids understand that like, I can do it, you can do it. I came from this too. And that was another powerful moment I had. I don't know. Yeah. I'm sorry, I get to talking.
No, we like it. So you good.
Yes, I'm sure anybody listening to this right now, regardless if you've been through the foster care system or not really appreciates all these words. Just going back to like your younger self, you giving these like very strong affirmations, and if anybody can use it in any way, I'm pretty sure they're grateful, we're grateful. So thank you so much for breaking down some of your experiences, and if you could go back, some of the things you would say to your younger self. So I don't know, Myra, do we have time for one more question?
Let's just go ahead and jump into some takeaways.
Okay, perfect. So y'all know we love a good takeaway. So pretty much, Tina, a takeaway is just something to end with, like, hey, you can work on this, or this is what I would say. So if you had to get a takeaway, the main takeaway for our listeners today, what would you say the main takeaway would be?
That if you ever been in a situation or been in an experience like this, let it go. Don't hold on to traumas. If you think about it, like Erykah Badu, Bag Lady, like you really do carry around bags that you don't need throughout your life because you just think you just have to hold on to them. But you never forget them, but you gotta let that go. You gotta let the hurt and all the negative stigma and all of the just negative surrounding energy around it. Let that go. So you can move forward and blossom into the person that you're supposed to be. Blossom into that butterfly. And just release them traumas. Let it go. And I know it's hard, but you really just have to let it go.
Yep. Well, thank you so much, Tina, and we're so thankful to have had you today. This is a much needed episode, and I can say thank you a million times. I really enjoyed talking with you.
Thank you too. I appreciate y'all having me. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you.
Of course. All right, y'all. I hope you enjoyed Tina. That was freaking amazing just to hear her tell her story of, I just like witnessing people's stories. Like, it's just amazing to me. And also to hear her journey. And I really appreciate her highlighting that, when things are put in your face, you're forced to face them. And sometimes we run from those things until we're ready. And that's okay. That's okay if, you wait a little bit to face those challenges. That's completely fine. I think we got to normalize that. Got to do your healing when you're ready. So that's my takeaway. Donika, do you have a takeaway?
Yeah, my takeaway is just like Tina, like the humanity and like the piece of being able to be open to meeting new people. When we was in high school, and so it's, high school's a mess anyways, but I didn't like Tina. She was real quiet. She would stir a lot, and I did not like her. And she has these beautiful blue eyes, but it was annoying. She would just stir all the time. And so I didn't like her. And so to know, like, if me and her wouldn't have ever talked, I would have never known all the things that she's been through. Like she said, she was a quiet kid. So she was one of those inside type of thinkers. Mm-hmm. Like if we would have never talked, I would have never been blessed with her presence. So be open to meeting new people, not knowing what they've gone through. Don't judge a book by its cover, like, ever. That would be like something that I would say as a takeaway.
Yeah, most definitely. So we want to thank y'all for tuning into this week's episode. As a reminder, we will be reading The Guardians of Orisha by Isaac John Paul, and I will be sure to share the link with you all. And the book that she shared was by Cupcake Brown, called A Piece of Cake. So I'll also share that link. And thank you all for tuning into this week's episode of Black Women Healing Pod. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and tell a friend to tell a friend.